Hello and welcome to a new vlog and video. In cooperation with ReiseJung, we're taking a look at the first 2 days of our second cruise with the River Diamond. This cruise will bring us to the tulip blossom in the Netherlands. We're starting in Hanau, heading for Königswinter in this video, and in the next videos we will also visit Arnhem and Dordrecht in the Netherlands, Antwerp in Belgium and Tiel in the Netherlands again, and then we're heading back to Hanau via Düsseldorf and Koblenz in Germany. We're starting this video on the first day of the second cruise. We are leaving the home port of ReiseJung in Hanau on the River Main here. The sun deck has to be closed, and here you can clearly see why. We are passing some very low bridges, and as River Diamond has 3 decks from front to end, the whole sun deck has to remain closed until we reach the Rhine with higher bridges. After passing Castle Philippsruhe, we are already reaching the first highlight of the cruise, the passing of the city of Frankfurt. Frankfurt has a huge and beautiful skyline. It's always spectacular. You've probably seen it in a couple of my videos before, but it's always spectacular again, and I'm always heading outside when we are passing Frankfurt. As River Diamond is equipped with a terrace in front of the lounge, there's still a space where we can head outside, even though there are some low bridges. And it was a fantastic moment, especially as we're sailing past the skyline during sunset. Here we have the bridge called Eiserner Steg. Here you can clearly see why the sun deck is closed whilst we are on the Main again. Before passing Frankfurt, we already had our welcome cocktail where captain, hotel manager, and of course we introduced ourselves to the guests, and after that we had the first dinner on board, which was of course fantastic. And in the evening we sailed along the River Main, heading to the River Rhine, which we will reach in the night, and then we are heading downstream on the Rhine in the direction of Königswinter, which is our first destination of this cruise. It's also a first for ReiseJung. For the first time we are visiting Königswinter. It's a smaller but very beautiful city, close to the former German capital of Bonn, and there's a nice shopping street with some cute cafes and a few shops, but the main reason to visit Königswinter is the so-called Drachenfels. The Drachenfels is a mountain, the most famous mountain of the Siebengebirge. Siebengebirge means 7 mountains, and Drachenfels means Dragon's Mountain or Dragon's Rock, and we can now conveniently take the Drachenfels Railway up to the top of the mountain. The Drachenfels Railway is very interesting itself. It's one of only 4 rack railways that are still operational in Germany, and it is also the oldest operational rack railway in Germany. The ride is quite scenic, takes around 10 minutes, and in these 10 minutes we're gaining an altitude of around 200 meters on a track length of around 1.5 kilometers. And here we can see one of the castles, as there are 2 castles on top of the Drachenfels. Here at the very top there's the castle Drachenfels, the older castle, and later on we will see a newer castle as well. We were traveling in a pretty big group, over 70 guests booked this excursion, so we were exploring the Drachenfels in 3 groups, and especially you can enjoy a fantastic view from up here. It is a very, very beautiful viewing point here with a viewing terrace at the Drachenfels. Here we can see the Rhine looking upstream in the direction of Remagen, and here we can see the whole panoramic view. The other side of the river there is Bad Godesberg, and in the far distance we can see the city of Bonn. Here, a little bit hidden, we can see our beautiful River Diamond. And here we can see the view to Bonn a bit better, and very, very far in the distance, if you have very good eyes, you can even spot the Cathedral of Cologne. But now it's time to head back down, but we're not heading all the way down. We are leaving the train again at the middle station, because as I've mentioned, there are 2 castles here on the Drachenfels, and now we are visiting the Castle Drachenburg. Castle Drachenburg has a very interesting history, and it is not as old as it looks. It was built from 1882 to 1884, so it's much younger than it looks. And it has a very, very interesting history. There are also some very funny parts of the history, especially when we are thinking about one of the most famous owners of the castle, Paul Spinat. who saved the castle in the year 1971 and had a quite eccentric life here on the castle. By the way, his name is also already funny because Spinat in Germany is the word for spinach. So Mr. Spinach also called himself Monsieur Spinat, so he had a quite eccentric style of life, but he saved the castle. He is a very important part of the history of the castle, which is now open for public. So we got a lot of information by our guides before entering the castle, which we then did on our own, as we had a lot of time to explore the castle in our own pace, which was also very nice. Also, the view from down here is fantastic, and the castle itself is also very, very beautiful. So I can highly recommend visiting Königswinter and especially the Drachenfels when you're in this area. And now we can take a look at the beautiful rooms of the castle. After the visit of the castle, it was then time to head back down. Trains of the Drachenfels Railway are usually running every 30 minutes, but when there's a high demand, trains are running also every 15 minutes, and then the trains are passing each other at the middle station. Today, already because of our big group with more than 70 guests, the trains were running every 15 minutes. Here we are now in the train heading back down to the lowest station in the city center of Königswinter. It's not too far away from the docking location of the cruise ships, takes around 15 minutes to walk to the ship. Also, if you're going here on your own, the railway station of Königswinter is not too far away, and there's also a station of the tram of Bonn called Königswinter Fähre, which is also pretty close to the station of the Drachenfels Railway. We then headed back on board for lunch. After lunch, we left the ship again to discover a bit more of the city center of Königswinter. As I've mentioned in the beginning of the video, Königswinter is a rather small city, but it does have a few beautiful places like the market square here in the city center, and there's also a very beautiful British cafe called Cozy Corner, which we visited then for a British drink before heading back on board and prepare for the departure. In the afternoon, we're then leaving Königswinter, turning around as we're always docking with a bow against the stream on the Rhine to save the propellers of the ship from flotsam, and then we're sailing past the former German capital of Bonn. And then we are reaching Cologne as another highlight of the day. Here we can see the southern bridge of Cologne, and here on the left side we can see the so-called Kranhäuser, which could be translated to crane houses, as they are looking a little bit like a crane. And then we are reaching the main highlight of Cologne, which of course is the Cathedral of Cologne. We can see it here in the background. It is especially interesting when you consider that the construction of the Cologne Cathedral started in 1248 and was only finished in 1880. Here we are also passing the Hohenzollern Bridge, which is the most used railway bridge in Germany, right next to the main station of Cologne. So also sailing past Cologne is very spectacular. A little bit more spectacular, in my personal opinion, is passing the city of Düsseldorf. There's an ongoing feud between Cologne and Düsseldorf. They're always battling each other. For me personally, Düsseldorf is a little bit more beautiful, especially when you're sailing past it, because we can see the Rheinturm, the TV tower, we can see the Neuer Zollhof, we can see the beautiful old town, so there are a lot of beautiful things you can see. And after a nice dinner, it was then time for the entertainment of this cruise.
Well, it's good for you, baby, and you're feeling alright.
Well, you just roll over and turn out the lights, and you don't bring me flowers anymore.
So of course also this cruise we had fantastic entertainers on board. After a wonderful evening with Helga, Dirfina Magnusdottir and Reinhard Paul, it was then time to go to sleep, and on the next day we will be in the Netherlands. Here you can see when the video of these next 2 days will be uploaded, and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then, and I especially hope to see you one day at one of our cruises. In the video description you can find a link with some more information about the cruises.